So there's a lot of misconceptions about micro SD cards. And I'm at this page because this is where I feel like people get confused. Now, if I could just zoom in, I hate like the front part of this page. It will not zoom. Well, I can zoom another way. Sorry about that. It's not gonna zoom. Oh my god, I zoomed in too much. I'm sorry, y'all. Like, it will not zoom the regular way. But I guess this can help. Okay, as you can see here, this micro SD card, now you see it says 128 gigabytes, right? And so you look at that and you think, oh my god, this has a lot of space or whatever. So, I'm going to buy it as a reasonable price. It's like $95 or whatever. So I'm going to buy it. Not noting that just because it has this space, even though you would think, okay, it has 128 gigabytes or whatever, so it would be great for recording like a 4K or 2K video or something like that, But it's not all the time, because it has a certain storage space or whatever. It's going to match the performance that it needs, because you think, like, for instance, like a 4K video, whatever, they take a lot of space. I have a Moto X 2014 or second generation. And I've recorded 1080p video, full HD video, whatever. And those videos take like 250 megabytes to like a gigabyte or whatever for like a minute to 4 minutes or to 3 minutes. Like, they take up a lot of space. And so you would think, okay, this micro SD card offers all the storage space or whatever, so the performance would be just as good. That is not true. So that is something that I feel like people, get confused about or whatever. They take it as this space, whatever, is going to give them a certain performance, but it's not true. And there's also this, what I call alluding or bad marketing or false advertising, because you see this, it says micro SD card, whatever, micro SD XC memory card up to 48 megabytes per second. And you would think that, okay, well, that speed is pretty reasonable or whatever. And if you do know about read and write speeds or whatever, you would think, okay, what's for both read and write speeds? That's not true. Read and write speeds, reading speed will always be, the maximum speed. It will always be more than a write speed. Like, if you actually look, there will be an asterisk or whatever next to like the read speed or whatever, and it'll say like write speeds are lower or something like that or whatever. So that is very eluding, because it doesn't tell you in the title or the listing or whatever that it's for the read speed. But if you scroll down, as you can see here, it says up to 48 megabytes more megabytes per second read speed. So that's something that you definitely have to look into. And I'm sorry if I'm stumbling here and there, because I'm trying not to make this video long, but actually I'm pretty sure it's going to be a 2-part video. It's going to have to be 20 minutes. I'm sorry about that, but I'm trying to let everybody know exactly what they need to know. And you can also look on here, they have like the application take better pictures in full HD video, so you can also look at that too. They sometimes will note that or whatever, like what is really made for you to be able to use it for. And I'm actually going to talk about the application later, because I don't want to get into that right now. And here's another misconception. Now you see this one. This one's a little bit more honest, Lexer. This is actually a micro SD card that I did buy or whatever, and it says up to 95 megabytes per second read. But, and it does say with USB 3.0, but see, when I purchased it, I thought it was just, oh my god, 95 megabytes per second, that's great, I should buy it, whatever. It has a great speed, it has great customer reviews or whatever like that. But in reality, and a lot of mistakes that people make is they'll take these micro SD cards or whatever, and they will review them, and they will give them a performance. But see, the thing is that the performance from a laptop and a computer versus a smartphone is completely different. So you get these speeds or whatever, and they did this to me too, and it's like, oh my god, this speed is like 77 megabytes per second for read, and I don't know, let's say for example 40 megabytes per second write or whatever. But this is for the laptop or for the computer, and the reason why these speeds are so high is because of these accessories, these adapters, and these USB 3.0 flash reader. These are the things that allow them to get these maximum speeds. Your smartphone does not have a USB 3.0 port, and it doesn't have an SD card reader on it, so you're not going to get these speeds. So that's also another common misconception right there, is that they're getting these speeds because of these extra accessories, and it's really meant to transfer to a computer. It's not meant to give you the performance on your smartphone, of this maximum threshold. So that's another misconception. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to talk about is the bus speed. Okay, the bus speed. This is pretty much, I'm gonna actually give you the definition first. See if I can zoom in for you. Yes, that was actually better. Okay, good. Okay, as you can see right here, bus speed. A bus is simply a circuit that connects one part of a motherboard to another. The more data a bus can handle at one time, the faster it allows information to travel. Okay, so basically, you can equate bus speed, you can think about travel, and travel is like the transfer, like transfer of a bus. So bus speed is pretty much the transfer rate, the transfer speed, and I think that transfer and read is actually interchangeable. And then they have these different, I guess you can call them class types or whatever of the bus speed, which let's just say this is the transfer and read speed. Okay, you have the normal speed, high speed, UHS-I, UHS-II. UHS-I and UHS-II are the top speeds for read and write, period. So you really want to look for those or whatever, and there actually are a lot of those for affordable price ranges. And their top thresholds for the read and write is, for the read, the read and transfer rate is 50 megabytes per second and 140 megabytes per second. This is for UHS-I. For UHS-II, the maximum transfer and read rate is 156 megabytes per second and 312 megabytes per second for UHS-II. And the two different the numbers are different because there's a SDHC and an SDXC. From what I remember, SDHC is for MicroSD cards with 38 gigabytes or less of storage, and SDXC is for MicroSD cards with like 64 gigabytes or more of storage. That's just from what I can remember. I believe it's accurate, so you can actually look it up, but I just don't want to like pull it up right now because it'd just be too much. And read speeds and transfer speeds. Okay, read speeds is pretty much, think about it as, like you ever been on your cloud storage and you've been trying to look at a photo, and sometimes you will scroll down or whatever and you'll see like a square, like a gray square. It hasn't loaded yet or whatever. Think of that on your smartphone, looking through your gallery and trying to look at a picture or a photo. Think of that thumbnail not loading. That's what the read speed will do for you. It'll allow the micro SD card to be able to read the files so you can be able to see them, as quickly as possible. So think about it as like viewing. And of course the transfer rate is transferring it from like your smartphone to your computer, laptop, PC, whatever you want to call it. So that's that. The next thing I want to talk about is the speed class. The speed class, and I'm luckily they have it right here exactly what it is, and I'm going to try to zoom in for you so you can see it. Speed class and UHS speed symbols indicate minimum writing performance to ensure smooth writing of streaming content such as video shooting. So that's what you need the write speeds for when you're shooting a 4K video, when you're shooting a 2K video, a 3D video. You need very fast writing speed. So that's where that Alluding Marketing comes from. They keep on, pumping up these read speeds, but you're, as a consumer, from your standpoint, you're trying to record 4K video or 2K video, whatever like that. You may also want to transfer something, and of course you're going to want to view, the files on your smartphone or whatever, but you're really thinking about recording these videos and, taking these HD pictures and stuff like that or whatever. So you're going to need a high performing write speed for your smartphone. And there are different speed classes. The speed classes go from class 2 to class 10. And there's a UHS speed class, which are the top performing high speed, performing write speeds. And these are U1, which you can see right here, and U3. And these are, when it says minimal serial data, these are the minimum writing speed. So it won't go any lower than these speeds right here. But it doesn't mean that it's going to reach that low speed right there per se. Like that's not the top speed it's going to reach, is 30 megabytes per second for U3. That's the lowest it will reach. It will not reach any lower than that. And the great thing about these are, like if you look here, you can clearly see the application. And this is something important that you need to know. It tells you what speed classes is going to be able to, you're going to be able to use to get certain things out of it. You're going to use a class 4 to 6 to record regular HD, which is, 720p video. You're going to use the class 10 and then U1, speed class to be able to record full HD video, which is 1080p, HD still imaging, and continuous shooting, which is like burst shots or whatever. And then for the U3 writing speed class, you're going to be able to record 4K video and 2K video recording. So you really have to make note of that. And you see right here, it has that bus right here, the bus mode, UHS-I and UHS-II, which I just talked about recently. So that's something very important to know. You need to know these write speeds when you want to record these 4K and 2K videos. You need to have a U1 or a U3 MicroSD card, and they're only under the UHS-I class. So you need a UHS-I or 2 with a U3 or a U1 writing speed class. Okay. The next thing that I want to talk about is the classification. SanDisk, this is really good. I feel like they're like some of the most honest or whatever, because they actually have like these different micro SD card classifications or whatever for different applications. And if you actually go to their website and you click on these little squares right here, whatever, you can see all these different micro SD cards listed under the classifications. And when you click on one of them, which I've already clicked on some just to show you, and I went to different levels so you can see, you have the SanDisk Extreme Pro, which has the top read speeds of like 95 megabytes per second. And if I'm not mistaken, the maximum write speed is 90 megabytes per second. It's not on here, but you can see it, I believe, on Amazon. And it tells you what the application is for, like what you use it for. You use it for to shoot 4K Ultra HD video. Then here's another class. Here's the SanDisk Ultra Plus, and it tells you right here, this is the class 10 speed for the write speed, and it's to shoot full HD video recording. So this is 1080p video. Then you have this regular SanDisk class 4 micro SD card, and this is to shoot and record HD video, which is 720p. So these classifications are very important to know, so you can know what micro SD cards you need to buy to be able to record what you want. Now, if you want to only want to shoot a 720p video, then go ahead and get a class 4. But if you're trying to shoot 4K, 2K, 3D video, so you need to get a a micro SD card that specializes in, you know, that rating. SanDisk, they already have them listed or whatever, so you need to get you Extreme Pro micro SD card from SanDisk or whatever if you want to shoot those 4K, 2K, 3D videos. So you have to pay attention to the classifications. Most of the times they'll actually list it on the micro SD cards. Okay, last but not least, one of the most important things that you need to know is the read and write speeds for the sequential write speeds and the sequential read speeds. I'm also going to let you know what the random read and write speeds are, like what's the relevance of that. I don't take it as being super relevant. I'm actually going to do another video that's going to tell you the best micro SD cards that I think that you should purchase, and I think it will speak a little bit more in depthly about, you know, read and write speeds for the random read and write speeds. But anyway, this is what the wirecutter.com says about the random read and write speeds. Okay, it says that in a phone or tablet, a micro SD card 4K random read and write speeds are paramount because in most cases apps save data in small chunks scattered across the card. And it says sequential speeds are less crucial than 4K speeds, but still significant. That's what they say. I don't know what they mean by that, because from what I know, that you're not supposed to run apps off of a micro SD card. So I'm not sure if they're talking about something like maybe trying to save, you know, music files from like YouTube Music Key or Google Play Music or Rdio or Spotify or something like that. I'm not sure, but to me, when they say app data, it makes me think of data from an app, like something like a game or something like that. So I'm not sure what they mean by that, but from my research, like going to, which I'm going to go on in another video, CustomPCReview.com and Tweaktown or whatever, they note that sequential write and read speeds are very important as versus random read and write speeds. Like, you won't really use them that much, according to them. So I'm just going to take their word. Sequential write speeds matters when shooting photos and videos directly to the card, and sequential read speeds determine how long it takes to transfer files from your micro SD card in bulk to your computer, for example. So that's what the sequential write speeds and sequential read speeds are for. They're going to be more important for people that's trying to shoot 2K video, 4K video, 3D videos. You're going to want to look for the benchmarks from a smartphone, not from a computer, because a lot of times you'll see that and you'll think that, oh my God, I'm going to have great performance in my smartphone, and that's not true. So you'll see a lot of these benchmarks right here. You see Crystal Disk Mark, and they'll have these speeds right here. You see the sequential read and sequential read and, you know, the random and the sequential write and then a random write or whatever. Like, these are not meant to tell the smartphone performance of your micro SD card in your smartphone. This is for computer benchmarks to see the performance that you would get once you use like a SD adapter or a USB flash reader. As you can see right here, PC testing. People think that this is supposed to work for the smartphone. It's going to tell you the performance for the smartphone. That is not true. And that's why, you know, people end up getting these Lexar micro SD cards or whatever, thinking that they're going to get the same performance in their smartphone. And it's not true. You may get good performance, but you're not going to get the same performance in your smartphone. So look out for those speeds. As you can see, this is smartphone testing, and this is a benchmark from the smartphone and what speeds you would get for the sequential read and the random read and a sequential write and a random write. And also, I want to give a shout out to Kostas K from the from the Sega's V2 Google Plus community or whatever. He's the one who did the benchmark for the Lexar 128 gigabyte micro SD card. And as you see, even though it says like 95 megabytes per second read or whatever, it's not the same in a smartphone performance. He benchmarked from, I can't remember the name of the app that he used or whatever, but as you can see, it says SD card 42 megabytes per second read and write is 20.48 megabytes per second. So there is a different performance. Like I said, that USB 3.0, I think it's a flash reader, is the reason why you would be able to get higher speeds that would give you close to 95 megabytes per second for read. So you really want to check that out. So that's all. I hope that you enjoyed my video. I hope that it helps you out a lot. I'm going to make another video that's going to show you those benchmark testings and maybe go over that a little bit and then recommend you the micro SD cards that I think you should get for the different levels, like 65 gigabytes up to 128 gigabytes. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my video.